Hello guys, how are you? So in this session we are going to talk about selection of graph. So basically in the field of data science, data analytics, machine learning, deep learning and artificial intelligence, you are going to provide with data sets and you have to draw some graphs and plots and charts, and sometimes you have to make dashboards and reports. So there you have to make charts and graphs. So when you are making some plots, then you are just confused that which plots you have to make, which bar graph you, when you have to make the bar graph, when you have to make the line graph, when you have to make pie chart for this data and for this data and for this data. So you get so much of so there's so much of confusion while you are making some graphs and plots in the data science or data analytics. So today is session is all about this, that how you can check or how you can decide whether which graph you want to make, which plot you have to make on which data, and what is the job, what is the main thing that you want, so that which graph should you use to get your job done. So today's session is all about this. So let's start with this. And first of all came with scatter plot. So basically this is something like, you can say, a scatter plot where you have x coordinate and y coordinate, both the coordinates, and you just plot that on the Cartesian plane on the or the 2D graph. So there are some data, and this is one data, this is another data, and this is another data, and these are some data and their plots. Like you can see, this is u-shaped data, this is exponentially increasing data, this is strong, this is weak, and there is no correlation between them. So when you have to make this scatter plot, we use a scatter plot to identify the data's relationship with each other variable, that is correlation or trends, that how the trend is going, like positive, negative, null, linear, exponential, or u-shaped, or there is a correlation or not, like strong, weak, or none. Then it also helps in detecting outliers in the plot. Let's say these here, this is all the data, and let's say some point here on this side is came. So this is the outlier, because all the data are in a straight line or in a strong correlation, and suddenly a point came which is much farther from all the data points and seems to be like outlier. So that's why through this scatter plot we can identify a outlier. Then in machine learning, scatter plot often used in regression where xy are continuous variables. So when you are came in the machine learning and you are doing the linear regression, then this scatter plot is also useful. Then they are also used in clustering, scatters, or outlier detection. Then scatter plots are not suitable if we are interested in observing time patterns. So if you are dealing with the time data set or some time pattern, so this scatter plot is not useful for there. A scatter plot is used with numerical data or numbers. When you have numbers or numerical data, then you have to use this scatter plot, not the categorical data. So if we have categories such as three divisions, five products, etc., a scatter plot won't would not reveal much. So if you have a categorical data like three divisions or five products, this scatter plot is not a better approach, because it doesn't reveal much insights from the scatter plot. Next comes the line chart. So this is how a line chart looks like in a graph. Like a line chart seems like a single line where all the coordinates of all the xy coordinates get joined. Next, line chart are used to display quantitative values over a continuous interval or period. Let's say you have a continuous variable and you have to plot it on the graph, so we can use this line chart. Then the direction of these lines on the graph works as an excellent metaphor for the data. An upward slope indicates increasing value, and a downward slope indicates where the value have decreased. Let's say uh, like you can see this green line graph. If the line goes upwards, then we can say the it is increasing value, it is a positive. And if the line goes down, then we can say that it is negative. Next, a line charts are most frequently used to show trends and analyze how the data has changed over the time. Let's say if we want to see the revenue of a company or the stock price of a company, then this line chart is very useful. There it shows in a correct manner that how the price goes up and down in the or change over the time. Next, line charts are best for continuous data as it connects many variables that all belong to the same category. So let's say if you have a data which is belong to a same category, then this line chart is also useful to show us the data like you can say stock prices over the time. When grouped with other lines and other data series, individuals line can be compared. So let's say if we want to compare the stock prices of a two company, then we can combine the line chart of the two companies, and we can compare the stock prices of them by just by seeing the line chart. So this is all about the line chart. Next comes the area chart. This is how the area chart is looks like. The idea of an area chart is based on the line chart. The colored region shows us the development of a variable over time. So basically, as you can see, the colored region shows the development. As you can see, the colored region here is less and here is greater. So we can say that there is a development. And also you can see in green color, you can see that the area is less, and at the end the area is very high, which shows that there is a large development in this green. That means the support. Next comes the area charts are ideal for clarifying illustrating the magnitude of change between two or more data points. So if we want to see the change in the health and GDP, then this area chart is very useful. As you can see, at starting the health is less than the GDP, and in ending also the health is less than GDP. So it is useful for comparing the magnitude. For example, the happiness score has six generative divisions. We would also like to see each of these divisions contributions. So as you can see that these are the area covered by all of these variables in the area chart. So next comes the bar chart, and bar charts are great when we want to track the development of one or two variables over time. So let's say if we have five variables, let's say in a store there are five products, and I want to see the sales of those five products in my store in a particular month, then I can use this bar chart that one product is sales of 10, one other product is sales of 25 or 23, and other product is sales of like this, and all of these products. So I can plot this bar chart for that. One axis of the chart shows the specific categories being compared, and other axis represents a measured value. Next, a simple bar chart isn't suitable when we have a single period breakdown of variables. So if we have only single period breakdown, then this bar chart isn't very good choice. For example, if we want to portray the main business lines that contributes to a company revenues, I won't use a bar chart. So let's say I want to track the company revenues over the time. So I want to use this bar chart because it doesn't tell the company's contribution, or the it doesn't gives me the best insights from that chart. Next comes the histogram. So this is like the histogram. Here we it is similar as to as bins. It is similar to as the bar graph, but here it is not called as bar. These are called as bins. The data are numerical. When we have the numerical data, then we are going to use the histogram. You want to see the shape of the data's distribution x, especially when determining whether the output of a process is distributed approximately normally. So when we have to see the data is how data is distributed over a range, then we use this histogram that how is data is distributed. As you can see, if I distribute the data over the range of 100, you can see that distribution is ununiform. there is not the distribution is not uniform. First it high, then low, then high, then low, then much lower, then high, then low, then high. So there is no trend. So the data is not distributed uniformly. Next comes the analyze whether a process can meet the customer's requirements or not. So let's say if this is the customer satisfaction. So sometimes customer is satisfied, sometimes customer is not satisfied, sometimes customer very satisfied. So see the trends like that, we can use this histogram, seeing whether a process change has occurred from one time period to another. So if it if this graphs is on the change of time, then we can see whether a process change has occurred from one time period to another. So this is all about the histogram. And next comes the pie chart. So pie chart are best to use when you are trying to compare parts of a whole. So let's say you just divide your 24 hours into some parts and you want to compare that. So you at that time you can use this pie chart. These pie chart are best for that. They do not show the changes over the time. They aren't used if you want to say the change over a particular time. Pie charts are generally used to show percentage or proportional data, and usually the percentage represented by each category is provided next to the corresponding slice or of pie. So this slice of pie is showing the how much time you are giving to playing, and how much time you are giving to work, and how much time you are giving to sleep, and how much time you are giving to eat. So this is how you can see the how you managing your 24 hours of a particular day in the various activities. Pie charts are good for displaying data for around six categories or fewer. If you have the six categories and less than that, then these pie charts are good. If you have more than that, so sometimes it get messy. Like if you have the 10 categories or more than that, it looks like very messy, and it is difficult to read and understand that pie chart. So basically, it is advised that if you have six categories, then only or less category six or less categories, then you should use this pie chart. Otherwise, it is not much good to use this pie chart. So that's all for these charts, and these are the basic charts that you're gonna make. And I hope I you will understand that when and where and for which data you should use which chart for that. So that's all for the today's session. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Stay motivated and keep learning.